New details about the covert mission to rescue an American airman missing inside Iran this weekend after his F-15 fighter jet was shot down. Early yesterday, President Trump announced the officer was seriously wounded but safe, describing what he called, quote, one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history. Now we're learning more about the life or death race to find him before Iranian forces could. U.S. officials speaking to MS Now describing the miraculous search to finding a needle in a haystack. MS Now senior national security reporter David Rohde joins us. Also with us, MS Now national security analyst Rob D'Amico. He is a former member of the FBI hostage rescue team. Cannot get enough of this story, David. It was absolutely thrilling, its execution, its success. But talk to us about it all played out, and particularly the CIA and their involvement. They used deception tactics. It's a great story.
It was a huge effort. The CIA played a role. Special Forces was amazing. It's New York Times reporting, but hundreds of special operations soldiers, dozens of aircraft. But essentially, both pilots eject from the plane. The first pilot is picked up quickly. The second one is a special weapons officer. The reporting so far is that he sprains his ankle, lands in a separate spot, and his initial actions set this whole thing in motion. He allegedly somehow walks up a mountain. There are some reports.
Like 7,000 feet.
It's thousands of feet. It's a ridge. Wow. It's a mountain, but up thousands of feet, and then finds a crevice in the mountain, which he goes inside to hide in. And so he has, and this is amazing, the military systems, but it's a burst transmitter that will send bursts out intermittently because enemies can see those signals to say where he is. And then there was communications with him to confirm that he was alive. They didn't want to make sure Iranians hadn't gotten hold of that equipment and weren't tricking U.S. forces to come in. And then the big issue is then the CIA starts this deception campaign, falsely stating and spreading rumors that the U.S. had gotten to the pilot and were taking him out by road to get Iranian forces to focus on nearby roads.
And because he was worried that Iran might pick up on the signals, he had to turn them off and on, right? Intermittently. And that's hard. All you want is to signal, I'm here, find me. He couldn't.
Yes. And then this enormous operation where they basically surround the area. They have drones. There's bombs being dropped on Iranian forces not to get into that area. There's a firefight at one point between Special Forces soldiers and Iranians. But these Special Forces people, their Air Force people that are trained to get pilots, hike into this ridge. And that moment when they find him and he comes out armed with only a pistol, which is all that every pilot has. It's amazing. You
mentioned training. I want to turn to you, Rob, for that. How does the military train soldiers for something like this? I mean, do they go out places where they have a 7,000-foot mountain and, you know, put them in compromised positions and say, get yourself out? I mean, how does it work?
Yeah, they do. They have them all over the country. Like the Navy Marine Corps have one up in the Northeast. A friend of mine, Nick, was an instructor there for 3 years. He was a former, recon Marine. That's where they take the crews from. They have recon Marines and pilots, people that are going to be possibly behind enemy lines. Part of it is in training, how to do things. And then there's field ops where they actually go out and do this. The colonel, is a little older. He probably went through this as maybe a captain. So he's probably looking, back in his memory to find all those things. David talked about the proof of life questions. It's an ISO prep card that you fill out. I won't go into some of these things, but I remember my proof of life questions today because I had to fill one of these out when I was operating with the soft guys in Iraq and Afghanistan, because they do have to verify it's you. They don't want to be, lured into a trap. And the U.S. has to be great at these. The enemy can be lucky. And if you look back at Extortion 17, the SEALs were going down to, it was a quick reaction force, but kind of same thing. One RPG took that helicopter out and killed 38 troops, 30 of them Americans, mostly SEALs from the unit that did this on the second rescue.
Wow. So the resources for this are enormous in terms of prepping. Was there anything about this experience and what you've learned about it, Rob, that you found perhaps unique to this extraction successful?
Well, if you look at the first one is what we call conventional. Even though they're soft, it's conventional search and rescue folks from the Air Force and from all the different services that stand up all the time. They're very much prepared for a pilot going down in all these different areas. They have different units out there. The Marines have a TRAP, a tactical recovery of aircraft and personnel on ships. So they start looking where this happened, and the conventional sides went out. The second rescue was from the JSOC SEALs, the same ones that did Venezuela, JSOC did Venezuela. So that was what we call the white side soft and the black side soft, a little bit different. But because the mission was a bit different with them hunting for 2 days on this, they decided to send the SEALs in from JSOC, and JSOC is very well versed in this. The commander of JSOC and I hunted Saddam 23 years ago. They're very good at this and all the contingencies. And you saw all the different problems that happened. They had to destroy 2 aircraft, and that's kind of where JSOC comes in. They just anticipate all these contingencies, and they had different plans and branches for each one of these that come up, so that as soon as it happens, they're going directly to it because they know time is so essential on this.